In 2005, the United Nations General Assembly unanimously adopted a resolution introduced by the State of Israel designating January 27th as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. This date was chosen as it marks the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration and death camp. 80 years ago today, on that day of liberation, approximately 7,000 survivors were left to be liberated in Auschwitz. That is what had remained from over 1 million Jews who had been deported there. From 1941 to 1945, 6 million Jewish men, women, and children were systematically murdered throughout Nazi Germany and German-occupied territories as the world stood silently by. Because the world stood silently by. I would like to share with you the words of Holocaust survivor Yosef Wiener, who died 1 month ago at the age of 98. These are the words he wrote after October 7th. My name is Yosef Wiener and I am 97 years old. I escaped the flames of the Nazi beasts, but my entire family was consumed by that inferno. Ripped from my deep roots, I built a memorial from basalt stones, a tribute to those who were lost. On the verge of collapse, drowning in despair, I clung to this land and planted myself in Zion. I married Aviva, and together we raised 2 wonderful children, Ofer and Nurit. Ofer and Michal blessed us with 4 grandchildren in Kibbutz Kfar Aza. Nurit and Mickey gave us 6 more. I watched as my family's tree took root in the soil of our homeland and flourished. But then, without warning, on October 7th, 2023, evil struck again. The nightmare returned: fire, ash, the slaughter of innocent lives. My beloved grandson Yahav, the one closest to my heart, was murdered while protecting his wife Shaili and their newborn daughter Shaya. And my precious granddaughter Hadar, along with her husband Itai, were brutally killed while shielding their 10-month-old twins, Ro'i and Guy. Once again, I find myself depleted, drowning in sorrow. This time, there is no earth left for me to hold on to. End of quote. On October 7th, our collective memory was awakened with the horror of the reality in which, again, Jewish men, women, and children were slaughtered for the crime of being Jewish. But there is a stark difference between then and now, the existence of the State of Israel. While we face genocidal enemies bent on destroying Israel and the Jewish people, we no longer have to rely on the protection of others. We no longer have to depend on the world's mercy. We have a sovereign nation and an army to defend ourselves, which is what the Israel Defense Forces have been doing and will continue to do in order to ensure the safety of our country and people. Supporting Israel in this existential struggle against those who seek the destruction of Israel and the Jewish people is a shared imperative for the entire free world. This moment demands unity, resolve, and a clear message to those who seek to sow hatred and fear, that we will not waver in our commitment to freedom, justice, and peace. Israel will continue to do all that is necessary to ensure the safety of our country and people while maintaining our everlasting commitment to the path of peace whenever we face leaders courageous enough to choose peace over hatred. But the war that we are fighting is not confined to Israel's borders. Globally, including here in the United States, we are witnessing rampant anti-Semitism all around us. Israelis and Jews are being attacked on streets, on college campuses, outside of synagogues, and their homes. As we join today in remembrance, we must acknowledge why we are charged with remembering. We must acknowledge that the words "never again" carry with them the sacred responsibility of a commitment to action. Just as we look at the past today with a vision that clearly distinguishes between good and evil, a vision that clearly highlights who stood on the right side of history and who was on the wrong side, who allowed for evil to spread. Years from now, the world will look back at this point in time, the time that we are in. We are the ones who share responsibility not only to remember the past, but to examine what we are doing today in order to actively stand against evil. Years from now, humanity will ask about this moment in time. Where were you? What did you do? Were you silent? Did you use your voice? Children will be asked what their parents did at this point in time. History has taught us the grave danger of silently standing by, of not taking a clear moral stand, of not actively working to combat ignorance and hatred. In the face of those who shamefully remain silent, we all must be loud. We all must stand clearly on the right side of history, loud and proud. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, to Senate President Pro Temp John Kennedy, to Georgia-Israel Caucus co-chairs Senator Russ Goodman and Senator Sonia Halpern, and to so many friends and supporters here in Georgia State Senate for your commitment to Holocaust remembrance and to combating anti-Semitism, and for your support of the State of Israel and the Jewish people at a time when it matters most. A beautiful testament to the state of Georgia's commitment to Holocaust remembrance and combating anti-Semitism is the fact that today, in Poland, Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp is attending the official commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau death camp. I would like to finish with a reminder that today is day 479 since October 7th, and we still have 90 men, women, and children who remain in brutal captivity in Gaza. For them, October 7th is still not over. We cannot rest, none of us should rest, until every single hostage is free and reunited with their loved ones. Most importantly, as we remember the 6 million Jewish men, women, and children who were murdered in the Holocaust, we know also that out of the ashes of the Shoah, the Jewish people have prevailed, survived, and thrived. We will overcome today's enemies as well. Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. Thank you.